Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Antoine from Two Branch Farm.
And this is Deidre. Hi.
So, today we want to just sit down real quick and talk to you all about why we do what we do. I realized that, and we both realized that we kind of started farming, we put ourselves out there, we did a lot of talking about what we're doing now, yada, yada, yada. But y'all don't know how we got here. So we're gonna just take a minute or two and just explain to you how Two Branch Farm came to be.
Is it my turn?
You want to go?
Okay.
Okay.
In 2009, when the tech bubble burst, we found ourselves in a pretty tight and bad situation. Unfortunately, Antoine had lost his job. We had two toddlers, um, mouths to feed,
And a dog. Two dogs.
two dogs at the time. And we were just trying to figure out like, everybody needs to eat. What are we going to do? And that's where Antoine and his ingenuity came in, and he was like, I'm going to start a garden in the backyard. So we started with our very first square foot garden, and from there, everything kind of took off.
No,
Go,
go ahead.
go.
No. So, um, that was in 2009. So there was some gaps in between, and so we kind of had this pattern going, right? So we ended up moving out of North Carolina in the 2000, really about 2010, and we moved to Milwaukee, and we were in Milwaukee for about 3 years or so. We realized that we hadn't been trying to garden or grow anything because we were renting, and then finally we said, you know what, forget it, we're going to grow something. As soon as we went and bought containers for container gardening, a bunch of soil, we bought all of this stuff, and then we said, you know what, we're moving back to North Carolina. So that was the second time that we had started gardening, started growing, and we ended up moving to a different location and moved back to North Carolina. And then we moved back to a home, which we were renting again. And we started the same thing all over again. This time we had a little bit more success. So we grew like collard greens and some tomatoes in like galvanized tubs. So that was kind of like the beginning of a little bit of consistency. And then we ended up moving again, like across the street,
All
really,
right.
to the other home.
Once we got to that home, um, this is where, I mean, we were living there for a while. We had a neighborhood chicken that would come around, and
What's his name? What's her name?
we called her Henny.
Henny.
That was the name that we gave her. No telling who she belonged to or what her real name was. But she got very comfortable being around us, and we got comfortable being around a chicken. So that was our first like real introductory to livestock, if you will. Even though she didn't belong to us, it was just something nice to look forward to seeing in our backyard. She would literally come and visit, do her thing, and go on about her business. She was truly free range. Um, After living there for a while, Antoine started learning how to do different things in the backyard, how to grow, because again, we were renting a home and we couldn't do things in ground. So he learned how to do what are those called? Where you had like the water in the
Oh,
reservoir.
self-watering.
Yeah, like self watering containers. We grew a lot of food out of there. We learned how to compost in the backyard with something small. And the biggest thing that we learned in that house that we weren't supposed to be doing, but we learned anyway, was how to raise chickens. We got our first three chickens during 2020. And when everything was shut down and everybody was in a panic and didn't know what to do, didn't have anything else to do, we were like, why not? A friend of ours had piqued our interest in starting chickens. And from there, it took off. So we had the three there, and then we figured we are running out of space and we need a farm and we need land. So that's where this journey began.
Right. So we originally started as Gyro Provisions. That was the original um, how we got started, and it was the goal was to feed our family, feed our neighbors, and feed our community. And that was the idea, was to homestead first. Farm, like all of this stuff, that was probably not in the picture.
It wasn't.
We really wanted to just make sure that we can, get back to the land, learn how to do our, things ourselves, like the learning of hydroponics, which is, we're in our hydroponic greenhouse now. So it came in handy because it allowed us to be able to build to this part right here. Um, but in 2018, we bought the property that we're on now, and then in 20-ish or so, we bought an adjacent property to this, which had the home on it that we moved into.
Mm.
But
was it 2020?
But we moved in like 2021 something.
2022 is when we moved.
Okay, so we bought it in 2021.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, because we were at, during COVID, we were in the home, the rental home.
Right.
But then we eventually moved out here. Then we started connecting with different people. It was like, hey, we're ready to learn how to do blah 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 with farming. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, we have a farm. We blunk, we blinked, and then we're here. So it was good because we learned a lot. We learned a lot about USDA. We learned a lot about, what we can do, what we can't do. We learned a lot about patience. We're still learning a lot about patience, and that's really how we got to this point right here, until where we're continuously just growing out and adding to what we're doing.
And something else that we also learned too, we learned a lot of things because we are new to this, and our parents didn't do what we're doing, but we learned how to buy land, and we learned what it takes to be able to develop land. When we bought our property, it was completely raw. It had no driveway, it had no infrastructure, nothing, no electricity, nothing out here. So felt like nothing. We had nothing out here. So we also had to not only learn how to quote unquote farm, which was just homesteading on a larger scale for us, but we also had to learn all the nuances about land, how to read your land, how to buy it, how to read it, how to know what is needed when it's needed, how to build your soil, all of that. We had to learn that from scratch. So a lot of this land has taught us a lot of knowledge that we are excited to be able to pass on to you all the more that we come into contact with you.
Yep. And all of those things, like she was saying, so a lot of the things that you learned in school, it comes back to bite you if you didn't pay attention. So whoever thought that you would need to learn how to read contour maps? You remember those things? Yeah, I did. Forgot about them, but I quickly learned how to read them because you need to know which way the water flows on your land. Learning about easements and driveways, yeah, learn about those things. We didn't learn about those, of course, in high school, but we learn about those things. You learn about that kind of stuff the hard way, and those are the type of things that you have to learn and need to know before you just jump right out and buy property. But we'll talk more about that stuff later.
Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit and just knowing our why and the beginning of our story. And we hope that you stick around just so that you can follow the rest of our story and hopefully become a part of it. At some point in time, we want to be able to open up our property and open up our farm to you all so that you can come and visit, learn how to be able to do certain things certain ways, because there's more than one way of being able to farm out here. So, and more than one way of being able to homestead. So we really look forward to being able to spend more time with you on social media and hopefully in person soon, where we can share knowledge and learn from each other.
All right. Thank you all for hanging out. See you on the next time.
Bye.
Let's edit out this part. Oh, there can be bloopers.
Bloop. Right. My hair look okay?
You look fine.
Okay. All right.
You're fine.